What's going on, guys? It's Steve. So you guys are gonna get 3 videos today. I told you guys if some big news pops up, sometimes there will be 3 videos a day. Now this is only, I think, the second or third time actually that I made 3 videos in one day. However, we have some very, very big news. We have news that along with the Cavaliers, the Boston Celtics, and the Los Angeles Clippers were in conversations with the New York Knicks, which means Boston and Los Angeles are still in conversations to get Carmelo Anthony. Now, you're probably wondering, this isn't big news. However, the biggest part about this situation is the fact that the Los Angeles Clippers are going to keep their big 3 that they have right now and acquire Carmelo Anthony. Now, this is extremely league changing if this trade happens. If the Los Angeles Clippers can get Carmelo Anthony and somehow, some way not give up any single one of their big 3, the entire league is going to be different. The entire league is going to be different. Very, very different. Because Phil Jackson is determined to trade Carmelo Anthony before the trade deadline. So, can you imagine Carmelo Anthony on the Los Angeles Clippers with Blake Griffin, who just returned, with Chris Paul, one of his best friends, and DeAndre Jordan? There will be no holes on this lineup. They have J.J. Redick, who can shoot. They have Jamal Crawford coming off the bench. They have the veteran experience in Paul Pierce. They have some other players that I'm probably forgetting, like Austin Rivers. This team would be title contenders if they got Carmelo Anthony. Now, I don't know if they would be as good as the Golden State Warriors or the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's not jump the gun right now and say that now. But that would be league changing because the Spurs, I don't think the Spurs would be able to beat the Los Angeles Clippers if, first of all, the Clippers, before the injuries, were already arguably the 3rd best team in the NBA. It was between them and the Spurs because the Clippers had a better record than the San Antonio Spurs did. And the Clippers were playing better than the Spurs for the majority of the first half of the season until the injuries happened. There were times when the Clippers had the best record in the league. So now that Blake Griffin is back, Chris Paul is back. I think Chris Paul is healthy. On top of that, so you have Blake Griffin, you have Chris Paul. And on top of that, you have DeAndre Jordan. This team would be a very, very big threat in the Western Conference. Very big threat to the Golden State Warriors. Huge threat to the Golden State Warriors. However, let's not jump the gun and say they would make it to the NBA Finals because, first of all, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, they're done. And excuse me, I forgot to mention this, but Chris Paul is done. Supposedly, it says Paul, because I kind of forgot if Chris Paul was done or he got back just now, but supposedly, according to basketballreference.com, Chris Paul had surgery to repair a torn ligament in his left thumb and is expected to be sidelined for 6 to 8 weeks. Now, 6 to 8 weeks, do you think the Los Angeles Clippers could make it at least a middle seed with Melo until Chris Paul returns? Probably. But then to jump the gun and for them to make it to the playoffs, which they probably would without Chris Paul if they had Melo, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre. However, the thing that worries me the most, they would have no time to build chemistry, which means they wouldn't be serious contenders until next season, which means they would also have to make some big roster changes in the offseason to try and get more shooters. Because Carmelo Anthony playing the 3 spot kind of hinders the team a little bit because he can't really guard athletic forwards anymore. He's more of a beast in terms of strength and the four position. That's what Carmelo Anthony is now. He's no longer that athletic guard that can play defense on the wing. I know he was never a great defender, but he used to be able to keep up. Now he can't really keep up. We got to be honest about that. But what about the Boston Celtics? Carmelo Anthony, Al Horford, and Isaiah Thomas. That would be a very good team. The Boston Celtics right now are a very good team. Now, they're not any threat to the Cleveland Cavaliers whatsoever. It's not even close. But they're still a good team. They're 27-18, 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference, ahead of the Atlanta Hawks by literally half a game. And by the way the Washington Wizards have been playing, it's ridiculous. 14-game home win streak is crazy. But anyway, if Carmelo Anthony managed to get to Boston and play with Isaiah Thomas and Al Horford, by the way, he hates Boston, so I doubt he'd waive his no-trade clause to go to Boston. But if he did, the Boston Celtics would probably jump to be title contenders as well, and with Isaiah Thomas, Al Horford. But then again, they're going to lose some defenders with Avery Bradley and Jay Crowder. So really, the only situation for Carmelo Anthony to go to where he would be an immediate title contender would be to go to the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is still an opportunity to happen. It can still happen. You know, the trade deadline's still 2.5 weeks away, pretty much 3 weeks away. And I don't know, man, because if the Clippers don't give up anyone of their big three, you know, Blake and whatever, come on, man. Oh, let me see this. Hold on. It says, breaking news. Phil Jackson tells me Melo trade rumors are not policy proposals, but examples of options how to trade Melo. Not sure what that means, but, you know, this whole Blake Griffin, CP3, and DeAndre thing, this is huge news. Very, very huge news. And, you know, again, the only place, it kind of sucks that the Chris Paul is injured, but the only place Melo could go right now to be an immediate title contender is the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the chances of that happening, I would say 50-50, depending on, here's the way, this is the only way the Cavaliers would make this trade, is if LeBron James tells them himself, trade Kevin Love for Carmelo Anthony. Because if LeBron doesn't say that, they're not going to do it. They will not do it. But if LeBron tells them, we need Melo, trade Kevin Love for Carmelo Anthony, then the trade would happen. But without it, it's not going to happen. It won't happen. You know, I doubt, you know, anyone over there in the front office in Cleveland would do that. You know, and in terms of the Los Angeles Clippers, that would be a good thing, but it's not immediate. So we would have to wait until next season to really see them. I mean, they'd still make the playoffs by the time Chris Paul comes back, and they could still probably be a threat, but playoffs are a big deal, man, you know? To come and never play with each other yet, you know, and go into the playoffs, that's big. You know, and I know they're not losing any of their big core players, but I mean, they're going to lose a lot of their role players, you know? So it's going to be a big transition. It's going to take some time. However, I do think the Los Angeles Clippers, if they can manage to keep their big three and get Melo, that would be ridiculous. That would be absolutely ridiculous. The only thing is DeAndre Jordan definitely needs to learn how to shoot a mid-range jump shot to spread the floor a little bit, because Melo, if you guys don't know, in the 2012 2012 Olympics, London Olympics, Carmelo Anthony actually taught Blake Griffin how to shoot mid-range and how to pull up and shoot threes. You don't believe me? The NBA has a video on it. The official NBA YouTube channel has a video on it where Chris Paul tells Melo, talk to Blake. No. Chris Paul tells Blake, go talk to Melo. What happens? He talks to Melo. And what happened? Literally the next season, field goal percentage jumps up, shooting percentage jumps up. It's crazy. You know, so this is a big deal. Again, I'm really upset that it's going to happen this is happening this way. So disrespectful. And the crazy thing is you always see this with the Knicks. They always do this with their star players for some reason. They did it with Marbury. They did it with Patrick Ewing. I know they didn't, you know what I mean. They did it with Ewing. They're doing it with Melo. They did it with Allen Houston, that most ridiculous contract I've ever seen in my life. They're doing it. Amari Stoudemire. It really wasn't their fault because he got injured, but you know they're just doing it, man. You know, and it's crazy. It's a very sad situation that's going on. So the most likely trade destinations are obviously Boston, Los Angeles Clippers, not the Lakers, Los Angeles Clippers, or the Cleveland Cavaliers. Me personally, as a Carmelo fan and as a logical NBA person, the only chance Melo would have to win a championship this year is to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers. If he doesn't go with Cleveland, he's not going to win an NBA championship. It's that simple. It just won't happen. So, Melo, you need to go with the Cavaliers. Hopefully, I doubt, again, he hated the Boston Celtics growing up, so I doubt he would waive his no trade clause to go to the Boston Celtics. However, you never know. Things happen, you know, so who knows, man? Maybe by the trade deadline, we'll see Carmelo Anthony in a Boston uniform or a Los Angeles Clipper uniform or a Cleveland Cavalier uniform. It's going to be a very, very weird situation to see. But I'm very excited because Melo deserves an NBA championship. If any, I hate when that happens. My throat gets dry. If any player deserves an NBA championship, it is definitely my main man, Carmelo Anthony. And he even came out and said it himself. You know, my career won't be complete until I win an NBA championship. I won't consider myself I won't consider my career complete unless I get an NBA championship. I'll look back and be like, what if, the could have, how do they say it? The would have, could have, should have, those type of things, So a very, very, very sad situation unturning in Cleveland. But the biggest news right now is that the Clippers are trying to get Carmelo Anthony, and they're not going to be trading any one of their big threes in Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, or Chris Paul, which is absolutely huge news. It's very, very exciting. And to be honest, I'm excited to see what they can do if they keep their big three, and then on top of that, Chris Paul comes back. I'd love to see how they would play in the playoffs. I'm not sure if they would be dominant right away, because again, that takes a long time. It's a process. However, they'd eventually start to dominate, and they'd be title contenders the next year if everyone's healthy. Anyway, guys, it's been Steve. I'm out. Very big news going on. I'm out. Peace.